November 22nd, 1963 was the day America held its breath. The president who was the symbol of hope for a generation was assassinated in front of the eyes of the world. But the main question still remains unanswered. Who really killed John F. Kennedy? A lone shooter? Or a conspiracy that has remained hidden for decades? On November 22, 1963, John F. Kennedy, the President of the United States, was assassinated in Dallas, Texas. A few hours later, in one of the buildings near the incident, a weapon was found in this room. At the same time, a person named Lee Harvey Oswald was arrested. From the very beginning, Oswald said that he had done nothing. When his room was searched, 2 photos were found in which exactly the same weapon was in his hands. When they showed him the photos, he said these were lies and that you had edited these photos and made them yourselves. The next day, a person named Jack Ruby killed Oswald. He died 4 years later, in 1967. Official reports stated that the cause of death was cancer. However, there are many theories about Jack Ruby's death. At the same time, theories emerged that Kennedy's assassination was the work of an organization. Some said it was the work of the CIA itself. Some said it was the work of the KGB. Some said it was the Mafia, and even some said it was his deputy, Lyndon Johnson, who had been replaced. But one of the main theories was the Oswald photo itself. In some photos, the rifle has a scope, and in some, it does not. The American Forensic Organization worked on this photo for more than 10 years to see whether the photo was real or not. Some said, why the direction of the shadow it casts is different from the shadow on his face. They said this was Oswald's head that had been photoshopped onto someone else's body. Of course, at that time it was the 1960s and Photoshop and photo editing were not easy tasks. The forensic team would go to the same location where this photo had been taken and would recreate exactly the same pose and take photos. This photo is one of the forensic officers, taken in the same month and the same place where the original photo was taken, meaning the month of March. The photos that were taken showed that the shadows of the body and the face matched each other. However, no one paid attention to this evidence. It was as if something did not want the truth to be revealed. Since they had all the information about Oswald, they even made Oswald's images 3-dimensional for their investigations and simulated that position. And the final evidence was Oswald's wife, who came and said that I was the one who took the photo. But people say the truth has still not been made clear. So much so that in 2003, an ABC News poll showed that 70% of participants said it was a lie. But what reason is there for wanting to kill this president? One of the main and most famous theories is that when Kennedy became president, he made his brother, Robert F. Kennedy, the Attorney General of the United States. Robert Kennedy was one of the strong opponents of the New York Mafia even before his brother became president. And when his brother became president, he made him Attorney General, and in a way indirectly said, go after the Mafia. From the time Robert became Attorney General of the United States in 1961, the rate and number of arrests related to organized crime increased by 350%, meaning 3.5 times more than before. Robert ordered the IRS, meaning the American Tax Administration, to pay special attention to mafia transactions. He even ordered the FBI to follow up on the work of the mafia and criminals. But the main theory here was that 5 years later, in 1968, When Robert Kennedy was running for president for the Democratic Party, he was assassinated by a man. There is a story called the Kennedy Curse. This story was created because many members of the Kennedy family were either killed or went missing. For example, his older brother Joseph Kennedy was killed in an air accident during World War II. Or Robert Kennedy's son, David Kennedy, was reported to have died due to a cocaine overdose. Another son of Robert, Michael Kennedy, suffered a head injury at a ski resort in Colorado and died. John F. Kennedy's own son, John F. Kennedy Jr., had his plane crash into the ground. Kennedy Jr.'s wife, Mary Kennedy, committed suicide and died. The last incident also happened in 2020, during which Robert Kennedy's granddaughter, Maeve Kennedy, and her 8-year-old son went missing in Chesapeake Bay, and on April 6th and 8th, their bodies were found in the sea. What do you think? Do you think these events were intentional, or was the Kennedy family unlucky?